Hi people, it's me, Koi. I'll be doing a voiceover for this drawing challenge that I've been doing that I'm gonna start, and if it gets any traction, maybe I'll keep going with it. It's a description challenge where I am creating a character I'm creating a character prompt and then I'm gonna draw out that character. Yeah, that's what this whole thing is. And I mean, it gets pretty interesting because it kind of challenges me to create interesting character designs with stuff that I don't even know if I've ever drawn before. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'll link the website I use for description down below, and yeah, let's get into it. Here I am just creating a silhouette that I'm going to use. The previous pose wasn't really working for me, so I'm trying this one out, and I kind of struggle with the nose because it says a big nose, and it's pretty straightforward, but I didn't know if I wanted to do a hook nose or a straight nose, but I settled somewhere in the middle. And with the hair, I couldn't really figure it out, so I referenced an artist, and I referenced their Instagram post, and I'll credit them as well. I'll write their name on the screen. And here I'm referencing a photo shoot for since he's doing a modest clothing, I was looking some up, and I found a Tupac photo shoot and that I really liked, and I used that for the outfit on his bigger body. And then I do a bust shot, and this first one isn't really working. It doesn't look like the same person for me, so I end up scrapping it. Struggle with it for a long time, so yeah, stuff happens. But the hair that I chose to do was really contributing to the amount of mess ups I've had while creating this character. And I even try referencing the image, and it still doesn't really look like what I want it to. So but looking at the time lapse, I'm not changing it for a while, so you're gonna have to watch me struggle with this for a good amount of time. And oh, we're changing it now. So this was when I just realized that I forgot that it said the right leg, and that's technically his left leg, because I rolled up that part to look like a thigh mark, his noticeable mark, and that's his left leg, not his right leg, but it was the right for me, so we're just gonna forget about that. And so I've changed the bust shot, I've changed the perspective a little bit, made it more interesting. I guess older me forgot about the whole modest clothing part, so I gave him a pretty noticeable tank top, and so you can see his chest pretty well. And so here I'm just shading it. I like to start with lighter. I just like to start with his base tones first. Usually the skin tone is what I'll choose, and then I will layer shadows on top of that. So I'll choose a really deep color, and then use a semi translucent kind of brush, and I will layer it. And this, for my rendering, I usually use either round or flat brush on Procreate, and it works pretty well. And so after I do warm shading, I move on to my cool shading, and the darker the skin tone, the more purplish the cool shading is, and it'll be a really dark, really saturated purple. And I'll also layer that pretty lightly, and it works well for me. And so with hair, when I do dark hair, which I do most often, I'll usually do minimal highlighting because you can't really see it. And when I color it, when I see what I just did with the hoodie now, I'll select that layer, and I'll just fill it with its base tone, and then I'll render and shade it while that selection layer is on. And so now I'm moving on to the fore part, and that's it. It doesn't look like it on the time lapse, but this one took a really long time. But this is my tanned bodybuilder dude, and we're moving on. So with this one, I didn't really like how it looked that much, but I got this one out pretty quickly, and it's a pretty androgynous character. So I gave it a flatter chest, but it said plump hips, so really, yeah, those are plump hips. So I referenced a couple of models for this. You can see them in the corner. And it said they appear masculine, so I gave them more like a techwear kind of suit, because techwear like reads more as like a mask kind of thing, you know. And so they appear cool. So when I think of cool, I think of casually drinking. No, I don't. But like, so I wanted to give them a really laid back pose, so like they look like they don't really care about like anything. And so they have like very arched eyebrows, which makes them look pretty cool. And they have a really interesting color palette, which we'll get into like later. And it's more of like a red and a blue, and it contrasts very well. So, you know, I liked how the colors turned out, but I don't really appreciate the execution that much because I think I could have done a little bit better. But yeah, so I gave them dark like black nails, and you know, sticking with the whole like dark colors, like dark tones. I add a bit of lights when I color the clothes, but you know, yeah. And so they have pretty fair skin, so that's what I give them. And this time with the cool shading, the cool shading is much bluer and much more like brighter because of like the lighter skin. And so I decide it looks like pretty cool, I think. And I give them the unnatural foundation, so I slightly turn up the orangeness of their face. And sticking with the whole red and the blue thing, I make their soda can blue as well as their eyes. Their eyes aren't really noticeable in like the half body pose, and so the blue kind of like still gives that pop, you know. And I ended up changing the color of the pants for the light hair, for the oh my god, I can't speak. But yeah, that's it. And I'm sorry for this really bad voiceover. I'll try and be better. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Bye.